Okay. All right. Time to talk some Orville. What do you say?
Yay! I love this episode.
We don't have any Orville music, so let's go to breaking news. The Orville is even more awesome than we first thought. Will Captain Ed Mercer survive? We'll find out. So, okay. All right. Yes, the Orville. Identity Part 2.
AKA the best episode of the season.
AKA the moment where the Orville becomes Star Trek.
It was best of both worlds good. It was so amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, the Orville's been taken over by the Kaelon. They're speeding toward Earth. Isaac is seemingly in on it, and they are trying to devise a way to take back the ship. Otherwise, they're going to, otherwise it's everybody's screwed. Okay, everybody's screwed. I mean, everything. So,
I love how the episode started out and they asked all the same questions we did at the end of the episode. Why are we still alive?
Yes!
What are we looking for? Shit like that. So you're like, and then right away you can they make sure to let us know that Isaac isn't necessarily directly tied into the rest of their programming. He's different, all that kind of stuff. And then, we'll get into the specifics, but yeah.
Isaac was built after the cleansing or after the unpleasantness or however they termed it,
So yeah, we did predict a lot of this episode, but we did not necessarily predict how it would play out per se. And I will point out certain moments where we did kind of say, oh, we kind of predicted something like that, or we predicted that would happen, but the way it played out was much differently than we had anticipated. And I was so pleasantly surprised, not to bury the lead, but it seems like we all loved it anyway. So all right.
I was on the edge of my seat. I really was. I mean,
yes.
It was that good. I was like, oh
Ed
man.
He laughed at times, damn near cried at certain others.
Okay, so all right. So why are they still alive? They're saying, they could kill us, but they need them to pull a deception on the rest of the fleet. And so they have to convince Earth that the Kaelon are ready to join the Union, and they can't do that with a ship full of Kaelon. So they come across another ship, the USS Roosevelt, and they said we got to find a way to get a message out to the USS Roosevelt, protocol 49 or whatever it was. And so on behalf, and they say, the Kaelon are ready to join. Yeah, on behalf of the Union, we give you a 13-button salute. I understand it. And the Roosevelt starting with, and then Kaelon Primary, he figures it out. That's that Directive 98. Yeah, sorry, I only saw it once. I only watched it once last night. So they destroy the USS Roosevelt. I'm like, it takes a dark turn immediately.
Yes. Well, so they destroyed them by giving them their little mixed direction, right? What was their phrase? Directive 98.
But a 13-button salute.
13-button
salute. 13-button salute. That was it. I love how quotable this is, too.
Yes. And so, and they spaced the guy. Yeah, you're right, Brandy Hagmeyer. Yeah, that was so much. They send the rest of the crew back to the hangar bay, except for Ed Mercer. So they bring him to the airlock, and they put some guy in the air. They put a red shirt in the airlock. And it said, no. And Ed's desperately trying to save the guy. And Isaac actually says he's wants them not to space this guy.
Yeah, we're starting to see more of Isaac's he's thinking here. He's trying to come up with good excuses.
Yes, yes. Isaac is thinking on his feet. Yeah, and he says his engineering knowledge could be valuable. That is irrelevant. We are more advanced than he is. We are more intelligent. They put him in the airlock and they space him. Oh yeah, man, that is. And
did you guys find yourself feeling more sorry for this one guy than anybody on Discovery?
I felt bad for the whole ship too, because it's like, oh shit, because they were willing to sacrifice themselves just moments before that to try and make sure that these guys stayed safe, but that didn't work out for them. So yeah, after this, they all get you just kind of move it along. Then, so after this happens, of course, Mercer's all upset. They start to try and think of ways to get off the ship or get a message off the ship, and that leads us back to the hold.
Yeah, Tala gets blasted, and Claire has to treat her. And that's that they use that. They used it to get her to sick bay. And so it kind of I forgot to mention that. But so anyway, they have to come up with a plan, and so Yaphet goes to the armory, steals a weapon, and he gives it to Bortus, and they're going to create a diversion, and they're going to have Ed and Kelly take a shuttle and try to contact the Krill, because hey, you got to, because like I said, the fleet's scattered all over, and they're not powerful enough to defeat the Kaylon, but the Krill and the Union might be together. So the plan works. They take the shuttle, they zoom away, and they're being pursued by the Krill. Bortus. I was like, yeah, Bortus. It was Gordon and Kelly. Yes, Gordon and Kelly.
Yeah, I love them.
Sorry. Yeah.
And so they have to get it, and they have to get a message to the Union, and Ty is the only one that can fit through the conduit along with the Yaphet. And so they do that. Yeah. And so we have the two plots running simultaneous to each other. And so Malloy and Kelly go, and they're actually contact the Krill. They're being pursued by the Kaylon, and they.
Where's that?
What was that?
It's Malloy is Gordon's last name.
Gordon Malloy. Yeah, Gordon Malloy. So Gordon and Kelly, they're being pursued, and they overload the quantum drive engines, and they zoom away, and so they're dead in the water in space, and they only have 15 minutes of air. Says we better hope someone finds us. Looks like they found us, and so they get taken. They're ready to get taken prisoner by the Krill. The Krill don't believe them, and then the Kaylon show up, and the Kaylon destroy 2 of their ships, and they destroy the Kaylon. Now do you believe us? It's just, it was like, yeah.
Well, you kind of that part where he's like, well, we can get where we're going faster and probably beat them, but it's theoretic. Nobody's ever tried it before. He basically all your power, including your life support, and put it. That's first.
They overloaded the quantum drive engines. Yeah, I said that.
I love that. He's like, by the way, this could rip us in half.
And I love that it makes kind of sense. They're using things that you would actually have plausible in the Orville's universe, and even in Star Trek to a certain extent. If you just swap out quantum with warp and all those things, it makes sense. In what we know, they keep the rules, and they have their rules in the universe. They stick to them, and I love that about the Orville.
Did you get though that little crack about why is the bridge so dark? I mean, why is it so dark? You get some light. Illumination is a waste of resources. that little crack.
I know, because they're doing it too.
Mm-hmm.
They're. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're doing it just to rip on STD a little bit.
So then like you said, then simultaneously as they're convincing the Krill to help them, Yaphet and what's his face, the boy, I just forgot his name. Ty, yes. Ty. They're in there. He's encrypting the transmission while Yaphet's sending the transmission, and then they get caught like almost right away by robots, of course. And I almost thought Yaphet died.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And he gets out and he's all like fried and shit. And you're like, oh shit, Yaphet just died. No, And then Ty gets caught. And then, of course, they bring in Isaac. And this is one of the parts that we also predicted. I think you actually called this one, Mecca, but you said it would be Claire, and not, you didn't think it would be one of the kids.
No, I didn't think it'd be the kid.
It made sense. So I'm like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. Well, he's like, you got to execute the child. And he's like, well, what would be the point in that kind of thing? He's trying to come up with excuses. And, and he's like, well, it's either, how does the robot put it? Either offline or execution, or you're go offline or something like that. But the way he says it's then he kills him. And he's like, offline is my choice, or whatever. I made my choice offline or whatever. It worked out in the show. I can't, like you said, once too, but it was cool. It was a cool Isaac moment. And then we go right from there to where he's like, I know how to save us, but he's got to set off an EMP, which would basically deactivate him as well. So then, of course, you got that moment too, where you're like, oh shit, he's going to sacrifice himself, and you're sitting there still kind of thinking, well, they still might be able to save him in the end, but that doesn't mean, because you're still like, you don't know for sure, you could be with Seth MacFarlane, this is like Trek now. They could take him at any moment,
Well, and you also have the thing, the question of, should he be reactivated too? Because he did bring his home planet there for invasion and was going to murder all of them. So I love how they played both angles. I also loved, before we go away too far from Ty, I love that they gave him a story arc too, because they kind of made him a bratty little kid, and then he's like, "Oh shit!" I realized at his age level, of course, he grew up a little bit in that moment, like, "Oh crap." I could die. We could all die here. And he still said, you know what? Yes, I want to go anyway. I can do this. I want to squeeze through, the Jeffries tube equivalent. And I love that they even gave the kid a story arc. It was so amazing.
Well, not only that, it's like, how was I going to put it? Now I forgot how I was going to put it. Shit. He shows that the kids listen to adults. That was what I was trying to say. As that moment, he's like, I heard you guys saying this, didn't you? And that's what you said. And if we all don't do this, then we're all going to die anyway. So, everybody's like, oh shit, we didn't really realize that the kids were listening, kind of thing. And then, he does. He steps up there, and that's what's great about it. And then you have the whole moment. And like you said, then we get into the whole thing later on where Mercer has the meeting where they talk about Isaac, but we're getting ahead of ourselves there. But ST Fanboy sent us a $5 super chat, Rob. Where's my cha-ching?
My mic was muted. Damn it. That's Fanboy, $5. Do you think the Union will back engineer what's left of the Kalon fleet to the Victor's Ghost spoils? Bortus episode 1.6. Yeah. Well, it would make sense.
Yeah.
And Isaac would probably help them too at this point.
Yeah, so I think hopefully we'll get some upgrades in technology from it.
Maybe. I'm thinking the bigger story aspect is going to be the relationship with the Krill. But speaking of technology and effects, I loved how during this huge ass space battle that we had, I could tell what the fuck was going on.
Yes. Yeah, all the ships, they were lit. You saw the Krill come in with all their green lasers and the ships. They all look different and unique, but like, each race you can tell, okay, this is the Krill ship, this is the Union ship, this is the Kalon ship. And I love that you could tell, and they all made sense. You could see what was going on. You could see who blew up where. Oh, I loved it.
So 7 says no lens flare. Yes. And I love that Gordon's in one of their ships.
And you actually felt some tension as oh shit, the Union might lose here.
Well, it felt like an Orville movie. That was the coolest part. It was like, at one point it was like, here you go. Here's where all the fucking money went. This is why we were getting so many whatchamacallem episodes where they're all self-contained in the ship. Bottle episodes. Yeah.
Mouthful of Gordon.
This is where all the money went right here. This was this was it.
Well, even with Yaphet, because they used Yaphet in this. He was like so important to this whole. I love this. Not a single crew member felt out of place or unused, except for Dan. They didn't have any place for Dan, but he's such a side character. But no, every character had a purpose, a reason for being there, a part to play, and something to do for the most part. Like Bortus had a little less than a lot of the others, but he's had so many episodes, so I was okay seeing less Bortus and more, Kelly and Gordon. And I love this. I also love that we got a little different, like a little bit of a mix up there too, because Kelly and Gordon never go off by themselves.
No.
Right. And it was a nice balance of both action, tension, suspense, humor. I mean, I laughed out loud, really loud when Gordon was flying and doing his shtick.
Yeah.
I lost it there, but
that's another walk in the park, Katansky.
I had to throw props out how great. I mean, it did. It felt like an Orville movie. It was so well realized, and it, like I said, it didn't feel like a bunch of shit slapped on the screen just to look pretty, and I couldn't tell whose ship was whose, and everything looked good. And yeah, you couldn't tell necessarily whose ship was who's in as far as the good guys necessarily, because they all looked alike for the most part, but that added to the tension a little bit too in a way. But as we got going closer to the end, when they had that little run where it was just the few ships against them, you know, it was all kind of, you know, you kind of knew where you were at. It kind of had a Star Wars feel to it, like the first film, kind of almost.
Yes, we forgot about the P corner.
Oh yeah, the P corner.
Yes.
The P corner.
The P corner, yeah, the P corner is
you know, if you told me I could either like work on the bridge of the Discovery, or I could work on the Orville, but I had to stand in the P corner, I would probably still choose the P corner.
Oh, and notice something else I said from a couple episodes back, where they gave Gordon this thing where he's kind of becoming like a diplomat. Like, he's kind of got this thing where, you know, remember they said don't get into this thing for the wrong reasons? Mm-hmm. Well, his second time now he's had to interact with another culture.
Yeah, that's true. And that, see, they pay attention. They stay focused on, like, okay, this character's story arc is going to be his diplomacy, or like Lamar's character story arc is going to be his engineering stuff. Oh God, I love the show so much. STD is the P corner of Star Trek.
Kind of convinced them, you know, that they need to help. You know, this affects all of us. You know, it was that scene in The Phantom Menace, only 10 times better. You know, the Gungans.
Exactly.
You know, like, yeah.
Hey, to Kaelon wipe us out, they're going to come for you next. So,
God, maybe that's why I like this, because I think The Phantom Menace, as unpopular as it is, it was probably the best of the, for me, like my favorite of the prequels. But
another super chat. Yes, Captain Hare, $5 super chat. What would your reaction be if the Prime pulled an Ultron hop from body to body and Seth needs to start brainstorming ideas so he can franchise? I'd be like, oh shit. Oh yeah, there you go. There you go, Shelby. Yeah, Captain Shelby from Best of Both Worlds. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now I know that. Okay. Now I recognize that. Okay. Where were we?
We're just leading up to near the end, because then we got to the Krill showing up and all that kind of stuff. So then of course they get control back. What's left of the robots take off, and they're like, well, maybe we can fix Isaac. And then it's like, I got to look inside of one of those things. I think I can jumpstart him, and he does. So then the big question is whether or not he should continue to be online and what his function should be if he is. And of course, Mercer has this really poignant meeting with his boss. Is it Vincent or
Victor Garber?
Is that, you always say his name wrong? It's Victor Garber.
Yeah, Victor Garber.
See, then you get me doing it. But yeah, they have this big long meeting where they're like, well, we should do this. Then maybe we want an off switch. And he's like, yeah, but sir, that's exactly what brought us to this point in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Is that their former, creators were too controlling, and I feel like if we were to do that to him, it would just be the wrong kind of message, and I'll take full responsibility for him, kind of thing. So at least that we know he's going to be on the ship. It's going to be an interesting character to see going forward and how he acts and reacts to things, and especially in this oncoming war that's probably going to happen, that we can kind of see is going to ramp up some more, because surely they're just going to go back and get more troops and come back out after us, and that's, we can kind of see that coming. But I'm ready for it, and I'm like jazzed. I'm like, after this episode again, I was like reinvigorated, because for a while there I was getting kind of tired of the soap opera shit. This is really kind of what it needed, a good shot in the arm of these last two episodes.
Oh my God, this like I said, this is the moment where we say, fuck this. We don't need Star Trek right now.
I know. Well, we have it with the Orville.
Yes, we definitely have it with the Orville.
Oh, did we forget how they turned on Isaac?
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay, yeah. And we also forgot that they had the pain sensors for when they screwed up, the little robots. Yeah.
The robots.
That was sad.
The Kaelon, the Kaelon, the organics or whatever they called them.
Yeah,
they installed pain sensors when they wanted their freedom.
Yeah,
and Kaelon Primary had Isaac download roots, and we finally, by Alex Haley. This is a history of their subjugation of others in their of their fellow humans. You know, refer to it when next time you feel sympathy. And another thing they said about, we finally learned where Isaac gets his name from. Isaac Newton. That's where he got his designation.
I think somebody said that originally too, but we just always assumed it was Isaac Asimov.
It's amazing how Mark Jackson can act in behind a mask. It's just really
it's his body language, his mannerisms. He pays attention so much to like just the body performance, because like he can't use his face or his expressions. So God, he's such a good actor.
But I see what Rob is saying though too, because you see those emotions through that metal face. It's kind of like what Anthony Daniels did with 3PO.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yes. You know, the studio originally wanted 3PO's mouth to move. You know that?
Well, George Lucas didn't even want the character to be like that. He wanted him to be a greasy used car salesman. Like basically all 3PO was trying to do was not do anything. Like he was just trying to be lazy in the original script. But I'm trying to remember who it was. It wasn't Mel Blanc, but it was the other guy who did a lot of the same voices back in the day with him.
Frank Welker? No.
He did the Lion and a few other voices. I can't think of his name now. Paul Freeman. Is that it?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he's the one who told George, he's like, look, the guy you got doing this is just right for the character. Why don't you just use him? So that's the story, I guess. Yeah. But that was the whole plan. The whole time was George wanted to voice him over as like a greasy used car salesman type, and not like this prissy, you know. But that's the way Anthony Daniels seen him, because he was British, you know, first and foremost, and he's seen him as a, you know, a droid who's there as a servant. So then he just took that and ran with it.
Oh, goodness gracious me! Yeah.
So in other words, we got the world's first gay robot.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like I said, Mark Jackson. You look at Mark Jackson's acting credits. He doesn't have a whole lot on his resume, but he is, like I say, he's remarkable. And the thing is, he could play probably any character on this show. If you took him out of the suit and just put him in a uniform, probably still be just as good.
If we didn't already look like, they could probably put him in some more makeup roles though.
Yeah,
but Eric Kelly brings up a good point. Would you say that this is a commentary on forgiving the past, since it's pretty popular to guilt people for past sins? Yes, that's one good point. Yeah. And not only that, I bet you $5 that they're going to play this out 10 times better than Mikey Spock's little fucking, you know,
her stupid story arc. Yeah.
Her redemption. That's the word I was looking for. Because at least Isaac, you can see a reason for his redemption. You know, he's already kind of begun his redemption by saving everybody and risking himself at the same time. And I'm sure, you know, he'll know that he's under being, even though I'm sure he'll know he's free, I'm sure he'll still feel that animosity from some people in the Union. And that's probably something that'll play a role. You know, there's going to be a lot of robotism going forward, I bet.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're a robo-racist.
Well, because I'm sure there's going to be this big war between them and
probably,
playing throughout. And so there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to like Isaac.
Well, I think the Kaylon are going to realize, going to have to reassess, because the Kaylon are adaptive, and so they'll realize that, you know, we didn't think the humans we thought we could wipe out the humans.
They didn't factor in the Krill,
but they didn't factor in the Krill or any other species. The Mocklins. I mean, the Mocklins will make a formidable foe too.
But that's what I think is going to go forward. And that's the thing, is they're not going to just retreat. They're just going to come back with 10 times much more power. Yeah, because they can. Because they're an endless. They can just keep creating more and more. Yeah. And you could tell by the end, even though they retreated, they still didn't go on. They didn't understand what Isaac was saying. Mm-hmm. As far as they're concerned, humans will still enslave them.
You will always be alone. That was Primary's last words. We ripped Primary's head off. That was great. That was
Oh
great.
yeah.
He tore his head clean off his shoulders. And there was actually that sad moment at the end where Isaac was looking out at the stars. He was making a map of Kalon, and he's trying to get your last, glimpse of home. And it's true, like he's gonna be alone on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think that's what's going to play into going into the future is he's, he kind of knows that this is not over, and he kind of knows that this is going to be a tough road for him going forward because, again, I think he almost anticipates the prejudice nature that a lot of people are going to have against him, and stuff like that, especially after reading Roots. He's probably even going to understand it even more.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're real. I know that they'll play with this storyline because they have other things that we've picked up on already, and it's not like they're just coincidences either. They are literally placing these very, very well placed nuggets here and there, unlike STD, which is just in your fucking face, like getting zapped. It was like, come on.
Yeah.
STD kind of reminds me of when Sheldon said Penny's favorite superhero is X-Man. Like you said, she kind of gets, she knows the names, but she doesn't understand anything.
Yep. Yes.
Seth understands. I mean, he knows this.
Oh yeah.
The guy was on Voyager.
No, he's on Enterprise.
Okay.
Because I never liked Family Guy. I was okay with American Dad, but everything else he'd done, I'd either just like I didn't really care for it, or it was okay. This has really made me see him in a completely different light. Like, I see that this guy is a really good storyteller, or at least knows what kind of storytellers to get around him. Same thing with directors. He knows what he's doing here. We've said it a million fucking times, not to repeat myself, but this is a true love letter every single week to Star Trek, and all the fans that bash it of STD that bash this show just don't get it. That this is exactly what Star Trek is missing, or at least Discovery anyway, that is. Mm-hmm. And this is what they don't see, and this is what they don't understand when they say, oh, the old boring stuff, and it's just old and it's stupid. And you can do a show like this, feels completely natural, and it could feel like it could fit right into the Star Trek universe at some point. No problem whatsoever. All they'd have to do is change the badges, and they wouldn't even possibly have to do that. It could be a whole different, whatever. Who gives a shit? The uniforms are close enough to where it feels so much more like Trek every which way but Sunday compared to Discovery. And if they don't see what we're getting at, this is what we're getting at. It has nothing to do with special effects. It has nothing to do with boring talky stuff. Because you can have action and excitement and tension and all that kind of shit going on through an entire 45-minute episode or better. Actually, this is a little longer than that, isn't it? This was like...
Yeah.
50 minutes. I think 52 minutes, Sam.
But I was on, like you said, you're on the edge of your seat the whole fucking time. From episode 1 through this one, I'd love to sit back and watch them all as one big thing. I bet you it feels like an Orville movie almost.
Yeah. It felt like it went by so quickly, too. Like, they didn't spend that much time on any shot or any scene. They didn't linger longer than they needed to. And they crammed a lot into this. And it was like, okay, and now we're in the tube thing. And now Yafet's getting zapped. And now we're on the krill ship. It felt really fast, but you were still like, it still felt like it kind of felt like an eternity almost, because you're like, oh my god, what's happening, just in the anticipation. But it did not drag. It was not slow. I really loved the pacing. I loved everything about this episode.
Boy,
these 2 episodes, they should put, I don't know how the exact, I think they get to pick I think they only get to pick one episode, but unless it's, I don't know how the 2-parter kind of thing rule works for like the Emmy Awards, but this show should be up for an Emmy, and this episode, if not 1 and 2, should be up for a prime example of why.
Well, they should submit this for Emmy for an Emmy.
Yeah, I don't know if there's specific rules if it's a 2-parter, if you can submit both episodes or not. But yeah, I know you can only submit like 1 episode. But yeah,
well, it might count as, I don't know how it works, but anyways.
Yeah, if anybody knows the rules, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to get all semantic or anything.
I was watching Nerdrotic actually before, and Gary was saying, "Hey, Alex Kurtzman. Hey, Akiva Goldsman. Yeah, you know that kid who does fart jokes? guess what? he just made you look like an idiot, both of you. So yeah, so
just are you
yeah,
kidding me? This is like he's already knocked him out 12 times.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, Seth MacFarlane is now standing over Alex Kurtzman like Ali stood over Sonny Liston. Limston, whatever. Yeah, Seth MacFarlane's standing over like Alex Kurtzman on the mat like Sonny Liston. Yeah. I'm a bad man. So yeah. Oh yeah, it's so good, so very, very, very good, so very good. And next week looks like it's gonna still be good. Next week it looks like because we have the Krill coming back next week.
Mm-hmm. And now we saw a little spoiler of Tala getting shot. I wonder if that's gonna be like her reoccurring thing, like she gets shot in every episode, and she's like, "I'm fine. It's just a shot. She's just a flesh wound."
She's gonna be Kenny.
Yeah.
I don't have a Kenny sound, so. So.
I'd be okay with that. I'd be fine. That'd be fun because Alara had the jar of pickles thing, and
yeah, Tala
still haven't warmed up to her yet though, but she's getting a little better.
Yeah, I like her just fine.
She's got. She's got these facial. She's only 32, 33 years old, but for some reason she looks like she should be. She looks older for some reason. I don't know what
she has smoker voice, and I think maybe smoking ages people pretty bad.
It does, yeah. Yeah. Oh my, Richie Pool. Oh my God, they killed Tala. You bastards. So. Okay.
How many more episodes left this season now?
What was this, episode 9?
Yes.
So we got at least 4 more? 5? There's gonna be what, 13 episodes this season? 13, I think it's gonna be.
I don't know. I think what are we on 10? No, we're on 8. That's right. Episode 9.
How many episodes?
14 total, they're saying. Okay.
Of Orville. Okay, yeah. Not that I don't believe it. Let's just go ahead, go to the internet. We shouldn't, okay. Well, there's been 8 episodes so far, yeah.
Well, no, this is the 9th episode.
Okay, all right. I didn't.
And I know, people are saying 14. I know there's a couple more episodes.
Yeah, there's 14.
We had last season because they held one over, and I think they gave them an extra one.
According to IMDb, there's going to be 14.
All right, so we got 5 more left.
Yeah, the next one's titled Blood of Patriots. Ed must initiate peace talks with the Krill. Ooh. Lasting impression. Now, when after lasting impressions, crew opens up a time capsule from 2015. I wonder if there's going to be Family Guy stuff in there. Star Trek. What's this? That's gonna be great. And it's probably gonna be, I want, like I said, but now it's probably time to start doing the real kind of dramatic episodes that Next Generation used to do. That was just no action, probably just actually we've had a few of those.
Well, we might still get some action, and if they have Krill, there's makeup effects there, so that takes a little money. But I have a feeling that the next few episodes are going to deal with relationship with the Krill, and then we're going to have a lot to do with, impeding war, possibly, and stuff like that.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, I'm not much. I don't know how much more we have to discuss here. So, we think should we put?
I think we can probably wrap this up because I think I'm not sure if we're going to do a regular show or not yet. So, yeah, I love this. This is the best episode of the season. These 2 episodes together. I'm so glad that they didn't fuck up the conclusion, because generally I hate 2-part episodes because the conclusions are always shitty. But this was good. This was great. It did fall into some of our predictions, but at the same time it pleasantly surprised us, I think. So I think we're all unanimous on that it was just pure
10 out of 10. I loved this. I loved they addressed all of my concerns that I had from last week, and They think. I love that they think. They think like Trek fans. They think like people who make Star Trek and not people who make Star Wars or something else. Whatever the hell they're making over on Discovery. Absolutely
Pew,
love this. Yeah, pew pew.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, this one went like Nigel Tufnell's Marshall Amp. This one went to 11. So
this goes to 11.
This goes to 11. Why don't you have 10 be louder and have 10 be the loudest? This one goes to 11. All right. Like I said, I don't know what else to say. Like I said, this Seth MacFarlane, our hat is off to you. And if by some miracle you are listening out there, what do you think, guys? Seth has an open invitation to join us anytime.
Absolutely.
Yes, you know we're on Twitter. You know where to find us. Seth, the door is always open here. If you ever want to come and just shoot the breeze, we can talk about Family Guy. We can talk about Star Trek. We can talk about Star Trek. Yeah,
I'll even give Family Guy a second chance.
I have original like Brian and Stewie plushies from when it was first on the air. So yeah, I was always a Seth MacFarlane fan.
I started watching it when it was first on, and I liked it for a while, but then it just got too many to remember the times. But like I said,
I've watched it a while.
I'll give it a second chance.
Yes, Brandy Hagemeyer. Yes. Thank you for bringing Star Trek back to us. Yes, you've proven that this style of storytelling, this type of storytelling, still works. Mm-hmm. And like I said, if you're out there, you're listening by some miracle or accident, then you know what? Like I said, you have an open invitation. You can join us anytime you want, and we will be honored, absolutely honored, to have you here in our presence. So like I said, you have the door is open to you, Mr. MacFarlane. If you ever was, I'm calling him Mr. He's actually a few years younger than I am. That's how much I respect him. The door is open to you. You know, the invitation is out there. If you would like to join us here, you are always welcome. And so, anything else to add to that?
We love the Orville. Thank you.
About it. As I say, I don't think there's really much else to say other than
also, and you can buy Orville DVDs on Amazon. They have a calendar. You can get uniforms. I don't know if they're official, but the soundtrack is out, and there's a book I was looking at.
Go buy Orville merch. Yes.
The soundtrack is actually on, I think La La Land did it. They do a lot of cool shit.
Yes. Buy yourself a lot of Orville merch. Yes. Okay. Well, I don't have anything else to add. So let's put this puppy to bed. So again, we'd like to thank Seth MacFarlane for 2 great back-to-back episodes. And we don't have any news. I'll have to get on that. But anyway, so thanks everybody for joining us. You guys got any final words?
I'm good.
Don't stand in the P corner.
Where the hell am I? I seem to have lost my credit card. Can you tell me the last place I used it?
Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
Good night, losers.